Chaps, welcome back to a bonus episode. Now, if you were sick and tired of tank stuff, today is your lucky day because a certain car from a certain place has turned up in a certain condition, and we're going to have a quick look at it and have a quick tinker with it, but we're not going too nuts. But let's have a look. Alrighty, vomit bags on standby. When this arrived, I may have said some expletives that would make a nun blush. Let's just say it that way. This is Peter Anderson's Bushwreck XA. This come from DJ at Automotive Carnage, and it has been in the bush for probably longer than I've been alive. And it is now here. It's travelled 2,500 k's, and here it is here. Peter will be down next week to probably vomit and then start working on it. I imagine it's going to go in that order, or he might work on it a little bit, then vomit, then work on it a bit more. I don't know. It's yeah. Alright, let's have a look. I did actually manage to get the doors open. This one was the only one that was actually on a catch. Seat frame is pretty much rusted away to nothing on this side anyway. Yeah, dash, pretty much what we expected. Floors are quite solid, very solid actually. Yeah, well, it was a bucket seat car from factory, so column auto. It probably had a dicky seat because there's the dicky seat mount there. So it would have been a pair of buckets with a little flippy up armrest type thing. Which is odd. It's got an automatic pedal, but it's got a clutch slave on the inside of the engine bay. So I'm thinking at some point in time somebody had a play with this car, because you've got a clutch master going to a clutch slave, and then there's still the automatic gear selector from when it was auto. The engine bay is quite straight, very straight actually. Moving right along. This door is bin material, there's no coming back from that. The roof is, it really doesn't show, but it is bad. And we do have one slight issue. That is an enormous gap, so I reckon this quarter panel has buckled slightly here. Well, it has actually, because it's sunk in. And it's just leaning slightly, so we'll have to have a play and see if we can rectify that. It's going to be a lot of cleaning, I can see that. Best panel on the whole car is actually this quarter panel. We've got bullet holes in the boot lid. They still couldn't aim. Interesting is actually the exit wounds, and then you look down here and they've gone all the way through and impacted the back of the boot floor. But I noticed the other day when it first rocked up, there's a tide mark on the inside of the boot lid, so it was upside down and been rained on a few times. The fuel tank is just garbage, it's rusted all the way through. Boot channel's gone. I'd say the boot lid's probably gonna need some repairs. Still got the trim, same piece of trim that is on XC GXLs if you're wondering, but they just mount them here. Yeah, you know, I can't really say it any more than that. It's just do a quick sort of. I'm just sort of flabbergasted almost. I'm just like, wow. But I think it's all doable. Look at that roof. Yeah. Oh, side topic. A lovely YouTuber actually bought my door skins off of me, so they're going to find their way into an XB somewhere in South Australia. So that's a bonus. Ooh, look at that drop. Well, I'm going to do a cheeky little time lapse, and I'm going to try and get that roof a bit straighter. This is going to be a fairly short video, hopefully. I was just going to do, this is mainly for Peter Anderson, so he's got something to prep himself for when he turns up. But yeah, I'll just set this up for a time lapse and just have a play, and then I'll get back to normal work. See you on the other side, chaps. there we go. Right, so one of the tricks with panel beating is knowing when to stop. There's a certain point you don't want to go too far before things start going bad. So half the problem with this roof straightening is it's so rusty there's nothing to push against and it just crumbles under the porta power. Also, my porta power was being an absolute pain in the rear end today and it wasn't playing the game. But we have got this door shut-ish, pretty close. It probably needs a touch more, but realistically that's not offensive. It's straight across the bottom. It's probably a bit low anyway on the catch, but oh, there's a door trim in there somewhere. But before, this piece here was actually touching that sort of raised bit, so we've actually brought the quarter panel this way by about 10 mil, and now the door shuts, which it wouldn't do before. You could literally put your hand in that gap. So a bit of porta powering from there to there has leaned it forward. There was a big crease through here that popped out, so like my suspicions was, the C-pillar had actually leaned back just a smidgen. I got a ratchet strap, big one across here because the tops had come apart, but now that I've pushed it back together I might have to just zap a smidgen of weld in here just to join the dashboard back together on either side, and that should be, if I go zip, should be enough to hold the A-pillars in, because they just come apart. And you'd notice in the video, as when I was putting this on, as I pulled these on, the roof went up. So yeah, it's pretty, the bottom of the car is very strong because I was pushing against it with no issues. This went that way, and then as it was going this way, it was pulling this, but it was separating through here. It was so rusty it's starting to come apart. I was like, ugh. And I don't know if you can see it terribly easily, but the inside of the front of the roof, there's virtually nothing left. So obviously it's been upside down long enough to rust the roof away. I had to sort of eyeball it a bit. I think this pillar's still in a bit, but considering we'll probably use most of the A-pillars off that, that's probably what we're going to run with. So this is all, gives you an idea of how strong it is. And yeah, this side's now ready to have, it's probably a bit too close now, but it's alright, I can just zap that and it'll probably spring back. Yeah. This side wasn't as bad actually. It'll probably need just a little bit of porta powering from there across there just to hook it back up, but this door did actually shut. Oh, I was stuck on the seat it seems. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. Yeah, sort of shuts. This side's a bit hard to sort of gauge by door gaps because, well, it's got some issues, let's just say that. But the roof is looking pretty close to what it once was. Well, no it's not, but it looks less flat. So there might be some hope for it yet. This is what the biggest concern was, whether or not this quarter panel was going to come back. And it's not actually soft anymore because it was like blue. So we probably need to do a touch more, but well, I think we're going to rely on this to make the car straight, because all of the frame of that is all perfect and the roof hasn't been crushed or been upside down. So we'll have to dig the lead out through here, and I'm not even sure I'm going to brace this car because I don't think there's any point, because we're probably going to want it to be a little bit flimsy, if you know what I mean. Normally I would, but I'm like, what am I bracing to? And is what I'm bracing straight? You know, you might put a brace and then work out that you actually need to cut the brace out because the car needs to move. So I know you can take the roof off and the car won't collapse, but I think we might need to leave the bracing out just to get this, have a little bit of playroom, if that makes sense. But wow. Anyway, you know what, I'm going to leave you there, and I'm just going to add in a couple of welds and a couple of key spots, but I hope this has been an interesting little bonus video. See you in the next one, chaps.